The weather is changing here in the United States. The temperatures are getting colder. There's a little bit of bite in the air. And if you're from my neck of the woods, the hats and the gloves are starting to come out of closets as we prepare for snow. But futsal is also on our doorstep. And it began on Saturday with the FCS, the Futsal Championship Series. And if you want to know more about this league, I encourage you to go check them out. We'll talk about a little bit of history in this video on the league. It's a short history as they only began last year. Talk about the format of the competition. And then actually we'll be able to cover a little bit of results since we saw them have their first games on Saturday. And then talk about some pros and cons of the league and talk about where we may hopefully see some improvements and findability, which is a word I just made up, and the upsides of the league, as well as maybe some things that we wish we could see more of. So this is just one guy's opinion, but let's start with the history. The league started last year with 4 founding members, Lansing City being the hosts, Midwest from Detroit. It also had WSG, a futsal league out of Wisconsin, as well as Futsal Indy, who did double duty that year, competing in the FCS and then turning right around and jumping into the NFPL. That session saw the Futsal Indy side come from a average result in games during the regular season to winning that championship. And then in the spring of last year, we saw the second series. Now, surprisingly, Futsal Indy did not put their hat in the ring, considering they were defending champs. We did see Lansing City, of course, come back as hosts, Midwest sticking around. And then we saw 2 new teams, Illinois Futsal coming out of the Chicago area, as well as Guanajuato coming from Grand Rapids, Michigan on the other side of the state. That series saw the 2 founding members, Lansing and Midwest, make it to a final. Lansing winning in an absolute thriller that I believe was ended in penalty kicks. And then now we fast forward to today. Again, Lansing City being hosts, Midwest back again, but 2 new teams again. MIGOS, which is out of the Grand Rapids, Michigan area, so a separate team from Guanajuato that was there the year prior, and BIH Grand Rapids. So 2 teams from Grand Rapids coming into the contest this year and seeing how they fare in the Futsal Championship Series. If you're curious about some of the change in teams and how did we get to 3 seasons in just a span of a year, here's how it works. The FCS is a short format as far as schedule is concerned. Everybody plays each other once, cover the table and make a quick semifinal final format, and then we see a winner after that. So you're really only seeing about 5 weeks of futsal in a series. So it's a shorter format. It's a little less cumbersome on teams, especially if you're a new team trying to break into the semi-pro space as far as cost. It's not a lot of traveling back and forth, but it is all hosted in Lansing, Michigan, which is why I think you see a very compressed footprint so far for FCS. The other thing about this league, talking about the ups and the downs, is it's very hard to find and it's very hard to follow because there aren't currently streams going on in this league. And there are very limited highlight videos. I think for the first time I saw Lansing City post about 2 minutes of highlights from their opening game this week. It just posted yesterday. And I really don't see much in the way of getting to know the players, which sometimes makes it difficult to connect and build a passion for a team and build some favorite players. The upside, however, is that it clearly is a jumping platform for teams to get in at an entry level with very little overhead based on the format of the league. And we've seen a little bit of local talent come out of Michigan from it. You also have Jeremy Kleppal there, who is a United States men's national team regular in the roster. He is the mastermind behind this series. He is also the founder of Lansing City's futsal team and owns Lansing Arena. So he has a very heavy hand in this. He is a very good steward of the game. He knows it in and out. He clearly has the national team experience. So the upside is if you are in the Michigan area and it's drivable for you to Lansing, I strongly encourage you to go check out this facility. It is absolutely gorgeous. It did get a facelift during the offseason in preparation for this 3rd series. And I believe that based on some of the highlights I've seen from Lansing City and from private conversations I've had with Jeremy in the past, that streaming is not far off in the horizon. It's about doing it right and making sure it looks good out of the gate, which I think is very important myself. So I'm very excited to hear that that's something that's going on. I won't get into too many more details about conversations I've had with Jeremy because I do not want to share too much in case there's something he doesn't want out there at this time. But we did have a very intriguing conversation during the offseason before this began. And I think there's a lot of high hopes for this league, especially if it can create that solid footprint and expand healthily, which it appears they are. They're going for quality over quantity and number of teams. You'll hear that come up from me again as we review some other leagues. But I think that there is a lot of upside to this league should it continue to foster and grow. I would like to see a little bit more stability in the other two teams, especially if there's only 4 every series. Or even better yet, I'd love to see a longer format season once more teams commit to the league. So, guys, keep your eye on FCS because I think there's a lot to come out of that league. Let's talk very quickly on the results that came out on Saturday. Might shock you, actually. The weekend started on Saturday with Midwest taking on BIH Grand Rapids, and they lost in a 17-goal thriller. Now, I didn't, of course, get to see any of the highlights or any of the games since there aren't any to be found, but there was an article written on it on FCF's website, and you guys know the drill. I'm going to be sharing their links in the description below. But there was a very good article written up on just a lot of the back and forth that went on, and that game ended in BIH's favor, 9-8. Then Lansing came up, and they were looking to defend their title from last year against newcomers MIGOS FC. Well, unfortunately, the script was not in their favor. MIGOS came out swinging, took advantage of a couple of opportunities, and didn't look back. And even with Lansing pushing hard to try and turn the tables on that scoreline, MIGOS found a way to dig out the result and won 5-3. In this short format, that really affects the seeding as they go into their playoff in a few weeks. So these were really, really big wins for the two newcomers and should make for exciting results moving forward. Hopefully we get to see more, like I said in those videos, and see more from FCS because it looks like this session in particular is going to be very, very exciting. So tell me what you guys think. If you're outside of an area like this, is this even a league worth following in your social media? Or are you looking for something that has a little bit more to offer so that you can enjoy the games and the content and the people? For me, I just love absorbing it all. I've been fortunate enough to talk to Jeremy, as I've said before, so I love following his work. But I know that I am a little bit of an exception to the rule, being a little more fanatic about the sport of futsal. So why don't you guys sound off in the comments below? What do you think is exciting and what you think of the foundation of this league? And what more do you want to see out of futsal in the United States? I look forward to seeing your comments below and commenting on them with replies. And in the meantime, I hope you play with your soul.